So in the last video, we created Ktor project using two ways. First was the web project generator and the second one was the intelliJ IDE. So the current project that I have opened is the one with the web project generator. So we are gonna change few things in this project to make it similar to the intelliJ IDE generated one, because I realized that many of you won't be able to buy the intelliJ subscription. It's costly for a few people. I didn't bought it for the longest time, but I use a lot of JetBrains IDEs, so that's why I eventually bought it. So we will make this project similar to the one that the intelliJ IDE generates, because in future all the projects that I will be creating here will be using the intelliJ IDE. So the steps that I'm showing you in this video, you have to perform probably in every project that you create, unless in near future the web project generator also gives us the option to create a similar project as the Ktor plugin does in the intelliJ IDE. So I will explain you the file structure first, and then we will convert the project so you understand what's happening. So this is the project opened that we downloaded from the web project generator. So we will expand it, and let me change it. So yeah, we will have the project one. We will expand it, and the most important file here is the first one, basically build.gradle. So this has all the dependencies that we need to start this project. You can see these are the dependencies. So the first one is the JetBrains Kotlin standard library. So second one is the server netty. This is basically the netty engine that we are using. The third one is the logback. This is the logging library by default, which will be logging our requests whenever we make to any endpoint. Fourth one is the Ktor server core. So Ktor has two parts. One is the client and the server. So we will be working on the server side first. So it's the server libraries that we need, and then the the fifth one is the testing library. And then the next important file is Gradle.properties. So all these constants defined in these dependencies are basically defined here. So you can either directly write the version, or if you are reusing a version again and again, you can write them here and use it in the dependencies section. After that, I talked about a configuration file. So that is basically this application.conf. It is a Hawken file. I forgot the complete full form, but it's some form of configuration object notation. I think human readable configuration object notation. So what this defines us is, it defines us the port that we are gonna use, and also the starting point of the application. So if we want to start our application, which part it should first look at. So what this is if you go into now our source directory, we have this application kt file, and in the application kt file they have created a module. So this is the code now that we are gonna change. So this is the basic structure of the project. This is the starting point that this configuration file is pointing to. So whenever we run this application, we basically come here. So what we are gonna do is we are gonna remove all of it. We are gonna create a main function that every Kotlin application has, and then we are gonna use the embedded server option here. We are gonna tell it that we are gonna use netty. Then we are gonna tell it we are gonna use port 8080 and host as 0.0.0.0. So this is first, and then we are gonna start the server. So we have now the server in the main function, we basically don't need this file now. We can delete it, but we will keep it for our sanity, that nothing breaks. But once we have the embedded server here, we don't need the configuration file for the time being. And now we want to create a route. We will create a very basic route here. What we will do is we installed routing when we created this project, both using the plugin and the web project generator. So we will create an extension function to the routing library. So we will create a routing and we will call it index route, or you can say home route. And then in this one we will create a get. So every request that we make, a simple request is a get request. Then we have put, post and delete requests. So you can see that we have a get request, we have a post request, a put request and a delete request. But right now we just need a get request, and in the brackets we can define what will be the route. So it will be our home route, and then every request that we receive is basically a call. We make an API call. So Ktor gives us an object called call, which is basically of type application call, and we can read the request from it by using the request object, and we can respond to it as well. So we are gonna respond with a text message, hello Ktor. So now we have created a home route, but if we try to run this now and go to our browser, we won't see anything because we have created this route, but we haven't configured it yet in our server. Our server doesn't know anything about this route. So we have to follow certain steps for our server to know that we have configured a route. What we can do is come inside our embedded server closure. We have to install routing first. So we will write install. So these are features, like routing is a feature. Then when we will learn about authentication will be a feature. And there will be many features that we will be installing from time to time to perform certain tasks. So the first thing is we want to perform basic routing. So we will install routing here first. And then in the callback of routing as well, we will configure our route. So we will write home route. So now if we stop and run this project and then go to our browser and click enter, you see that now we see hello Ktor. So we have in this project basically converted our web-based project to look like the intelliJ plugin project. Then we have created an embedded server basically, and then created a route and installed the routing feature, then configured our first route. So this is the basic of routing here. In future videos we will be creating many routes, so these are the common steps that we will be performing. So that's all in this video. I'll see you in the next one.